Long before cities were illuminated with electric lights, when darkness ruled the streets and homes after sunset, people relied entirely on candles for warmth, light, and comfort. In a small port city in the United States, a boy named Samuel Carter was born into extreme poverty. The streets were crowded with horse-drawn wagons. The smell of coal and salt filled the air, and the clatter of dock workers echoed throughout the port. Samuel's family had almost nothing. His father worked as a dockhand, unloading heavy crates for meager wages, while his mother washed clothes for neighbors, her hands raw and blistered. Meals were scarce, and the cold nights were merciless. Life was unforgiving. Yet Samuel had two gifts poverty could not steal: curiosity and determination. While other children played or idled, Samuel observed the world keenly. He noticed the small details most people ignored. He saw merchants selling low-quality candles, schools constantly running out of lighting, and taverns struggling to keep rooms illuminated. People complained, but no one tried to improve the situation. Samuel realized something crucial. Problems are opportunities waiting to be solved. At 12, Samuel began experimenting. He collected leftover tallow, scraps of wax from merchants, and wicks made from old rope. In a dim corner of his home, he melted, molded, and tested hundreds of combinations. Each night, he worked tirelessly, testing which mixtures burned longer, which wicks held steady, and which candles produced a clean, bright flame. The first candles were crude and uneven, but they burned longer and brighter than anything else on the market. One chilly morning, Samuel carried his first batch to the market. He set up a small wooden box and called out, "Candles, strong, bright, and long-lasting. Only a few coins." People laughed at the sight of a small boy trying to sell candles. A child selling candles? What could he possibly know? Some said. But when a customer lit a candle, they were astonished. The flame was steady, the wax held firm, and it lasted far longer than the cheap alternatives. Slowly, word spread. Schools, taverns, and homes began requesting Samuel's candles. What began as a boy's experiment was now a budding business. Samuel reinvested every coin he earned. With the money, he rented a small workshop near the market and hired a few street children who, like him, had no family and no opportunities. He taught them how to craft candles, mix oils, and dip wicks evenly. Together, they worked tirelessly, focusing on quality over quantity. Samuel believed even one faulty candle could destroy the trust he had built. Life was far from easy. Raw materials were delayed, ruining production schedules. Competitors mocked him, selling cheap, low-quality candles to undercut his prices. One harsh winter, a shipment of wax was stolen, destroying weeks of work. Fires occasionally broke out in the workshop, consuming both candles and equipment. Many would have given up. But Samuel had vision, resilience, and the refusal to quit. Every failure became a lesson. Samuel diversified suppliers to avoid dependence on a single source of wax, improved his formulas to resist extreme temperatures, and built safer storage for his materials. He kept meticulous records, organized deliveries efficiently, and trained his workers to maintain the highest standards. Slowly, his reputation grew. Samuel Carter was no longer just a boy selling candles. He had become a trusted craftsman and problem solver. By his 20s, Samuel's workshop could no longer contain the growing demand. He rented a larger space and employed dozens. He innovated long-burning candles for homes, sturdy candles for ships, decorative candles for celebrations, and scented candles for special occasions. He understood a vital principle: solve problems others ignore, and serve people better than anyone else. Rival merchants tried to imitate him. Some spread false rumors, claiming his candles were no better than ordinary ones. Market crashes threatened demand, and harsh winters slowed production. Fires continued to threaten the workshop. Yet Samuel adapted. He diversified production, created multiple supply chains, and refined his formulas. He trained his employees meticulously, emphasizing discipline, attention to detail, and honesty. His business thrived not because it was lucky, but because it was organized, trustworthy, and innovative. Samuel never allowed wealth to corrupt him. He remembered the alley where he had experimented by candlelight, the hunger he had endured, and the cold that had gnawed at him. He continued to hire street children, giving them a future he had once lacked. He donated candles to orphanages, schools, and struggling families. His company became a source of hope and opportunity, not just profit. He often walked the streets at night, observing children playing, merchants closing shops, and lights flickering in windows. He remembered himself at their age, unnoticed, hungry, and uncertain of the future. He invited some of these children into his workshop, teaching them the craft and the ethics of business. Opportunities are everywhere, he would say, but most people overlook them. Where others see inconvenience, see value. Serve honestly, innovate tirelessly, and treat those who trust you with respect. Wealth follows those who serve well, but respect and purpose are far more valuable than gold. As decades passed, Samuel Carter became a legend. His candles lit homes, schools, ships, and festivals across the region. People trusted his brand. Merchants recommended his products. Competitors tried and failed to match the quality, innovation, and trust Samuel built. Yet he remained humble, walking the alleys of his youth, remembering the struggles that had shaped him. Samuel faced personal losses. Friends and family passed, and he endured the pain of grief while running his empire. Yet he found purpose in the lives he changed, the children he employed, the families he provided for, the communities he supported. He understood that true success was measured not in coins, but in impact and integrity. He trained the next generation of artisans with patience, teaching them that failure was part of growth. Every candle that melts, every wick that breaks, every shipment delayed is a lesson, he told them. If you learn, adapt, and keep moving forward, no obstacle can stop you. By the end of his life, Samuel Carter's empire was more than a business. It was a legacy of hope, discipline, and vision. He had turned a simple idea, better candles, into a company that employed hundreds, supplied countless towns, and became a symbol of perseverance and ethical success. Samuel's story is proof that greatness can rise from humble beginnings. Even in poverty, a keen mind, relentless effort, and a commitment to serve others can transform a small idea into an empire. Every failure is a lesson, every obstacle the test, and every small step a foundation for lasting success. For anyone struggling, doubted, or overlooked, remember Samuel Carter. Your discipline, integrity, and persistent effort, even when unseen, are seeds of greatness. Your hardships are not barriers. They are your classroom. Your determination is your advantage, and your willingness to serve, innovate, and persevere distinguishes you from the ordinary. The candle may seem simple, the problem trivial, but in the hands of someone who refuses to quit, even the tiniest spark can illuminate an empire. Samuel Carter's life reminds us that vision, persistence, and service can turn even the humblest beginnings into greatness. If you want more Larssen-inspired motivational stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.